All month long, we've been presenting a series of mayoral debates every week on the state we're in, leading up to the election in November. This week, we examine the contest for the chief executive office in the city of Holmes. In Springfield, the contested race for mayor has been a relatively quiet one. Incumbent Mayor Domenic Sarno says he's focused on confronting several challenges facing the city and has declined our debate invitation. His challenger, community organizer Yolanda Cancel, joined me in the studio to discuss her plans, if elected, to confront a range of issues facing the city, including violent crime, unemployment, and the environment.
Day one of my administration it will basically look at what is my first job of duty and how am I going to do this. I think the biggest thing that's I want to meet everybody, right? Who's working? What's their, what have they been doing? My main goal is to make sure that I meet every single person that is working in City Hall and talk to them. Do you like your job? What could we change? And to get a one-on-one with each employee. That is my goal to do.
To understand that perspective, that feedback. Great. Yeah. So I wanted to let the folks at home know that we did invite Incumbent Mayor Domenic Sarno to participate. We had a hope for a debate here today. We're happy to have you to hear your insights. But Mayor Sarno's campaign manager sent us something, and it said that I regret to inform you that Mayor Sarno will be unable to participate in your October 18th forum due to time constraints. The mayor is devoting all of his time to working on several critical issues facing the city of Springfield, along with a personal family situation. And that was from Paul Lessard, Mayor Domenic Sarno's campaign chairman. Would you have liked the opportunity to debate Mayor Sarno?
Absolutely. I would have loved the debate, not only so people will understand the difference between the two of us, but also to give, it's our civic duty to make sure that our voters in the city of Springfield know what our future, what our platform is, and what's the difference between the two of us. And I think they owe that. He owes that to them as well as I, to understand what our perspective is and what it is that we want to bring in the next 4 years and how we want to bring the city innovative.
Well, you have the opportunity in the next several minutes to let people know that. So Mr. Lessard mentioned in the statement from the mayor several critical issues. What's a critical issue for you that's facing the city right now? What would you like to do to change it?
I think, but I know that the most critical issues that we are having is violence. Gun violence in our city is, it's almost seems uncontrollable at this point. And the other thing is drug addiction, opioids, and thinking that the methadone clinic is the other option, and it's not. And those are two of my biggest issues is the violence, especially gun violence, and drug abuse in our city.
How would you like to meet those challenges if you were elected mayor?
Well, the first challenge is to allow organizations and groups to continue openly talking about how we're going to fight the war on this gun violence that we have right now. And changing it. One of my biggest things is trying to pilot a program with Moms Demand Action when it comes to having a year buyback program with the firearms, meaning that no questions asked. Anybody would walk into this facility, and we'll set up the day, and it will be a year-round program that we would pay an incentive for this firearm to come in. And depending on this firearm, and turn it over to the investigations unit, see if there's anything wrong with it, and if it's not, then take this firearm and melt it. So it would not be found back out into the street, because what we're seeing is guns that are stolen circulate through the streets for years. And we need to stop that. We need to get those guns off the street. So we need to be more proactive.
You also mentioned opioids and how you disagree with the methadone clinic.
Yes.
Why is that your perspective?
The methadone clinic has a 16% turnaround. That means that it's not helping. It's just going from one drug addiction to the next. What we need is a 24-hour intake and a 9-month inpatient if we're really going to help somebody with drug addiction. And we're not doing it by just sending somebody to the methadone clinic every single morning to get a dose and then go home. And it's just going from one street drug into just going into the methadone clinic, and you're not rehabbing anybody. You're not counseling them off of these products, and none of that. So by having a 9-month inpatient is by giving this individual their life back, and permanently, hopefully, right? And the long-term stance, because drug addiction, and is it drug addiction because of mental health? Is it drug addiction because of so many different ways? You party too much or something different. We don't know, but let's find out. But we have to take a more proactive approach and a more clinical approach. Over-policing is not the answer.
You talked a minute ago about violent crime in the city of Springfield, and I was looking at the FBI statistics for the city. The FBI released its annual crime report last month, which looks at the previous year, and it said that violent crime in the city of Springfield was down 3.3% nationally. But when we look at the city of Springfield, there were 1,534 incidents reported. Prior year, in 2017, it was 1,351 that were reported. So that's a difference of 12.6%. If elected as mayor, how would you choose to address that violent crime?
Well, violent crime comes in so many areas. Right now, the city of Springfield is angry. They are depressed. There's not enough jobs. Our educational department needs a lot of work. Our administrators need a lot of help. Our teachers need a lot of help. And as a city, and as mayor, you are the president of the school committee. So there's a lot that you can do to change everything that we need to do. We need to make sure that we are getting our kids to up into the educational to lead our city and to lead our country. And at this moment, we're not doing that.
A few minutes ago, you mentioned jobs. Here in the city of Springfield, according to the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development, the most recent numbers show the unemployment rate in the city of Springfield at 6.2%. When you look at the rest of the state, that's 2.8%. So considerably higher here in the city of Springfield. You're a community organizer, in addition to your other roles. You're speaking with people all the time in that capacity. What do you hear from people about what they want from jobs, what they're looking for?
They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for better paid jobs. They're looking for training. They're looking for education, especially outside of the workforce. Because, when I'm knocking on doors and I'm asking, hey, did you get hired at MGM? Yes, but they didn't last. And it's like, well, why didn't you last? I didn't understand it, or I didn't know how to do it. So you hear these different things, and it's like, okay, so now you're back out and now you're unemployed. And it's like, what could we do as a city to make sure that we are supplying training to each and every one of these individuals? And I'm thinking that in high school, we should start to the entrepreneurship and start getting all these organizations that are helping training and entrepreneurship to start going into our high schools and start early on, instead of waiting for somebody to leave high school before giving them the tools and methods to be able to work for themselves, or to open up a franchise, or to get just, to think outside of the box about what do they want to do. And we should start in high school to do that.
City Council, as mayor, that's an entity that you work with quite a bit. I'm sure you're no stranger to the fact that Mayor Sarno and the current City Council have clashed over several issues recently. Is there an issue that you look at and you see that Mayor Sarno differed with the council, you see how he handled it, and you look at it and say, I would have handled issue X differently?
Yes. I definitely wouldn't use the city Facebook website to attack my counterparts or my elected officials. I would never do that. I would definitely, my pitch is always, it starts with a conversation and hopefully ends with a solution. And I think that that's where they differ. They're not coming to the table to actually have a conversation. It's more like this bicker between the both. And what happens is one says, well, I'm gonna file a paper to go against this. Well, I'm gonna fire this, and I'm gonna veto this. And it's like a constant, but our residents are looking at this like, they're like two siblings arguing, and when is somebody going to get along so we can get things done? So my goal is not to fight like that. And it's to ask, what could we do to make our city better? What is it that city council, because obviously city council has voter following. They're doing what their voters are asking them. Obviously, we should be having the same voters, just the same people. It's our voters in our city. So I need to work with my city council to make sure that we're probably not always going to get along, but definitely attacking each other publicly, and it looks tasteless, and I wouldn't want to be like that whatsoever.
A moment ago, you mentioned what can we do to make the city better, that question. I think one of the things that residents have been showing other residents here in Springfield is that they want action around climate change. We saw a protest a few weeks ago at Court Square. How would you have responded to that protest, calling for action around the idea of climate change?
Well, climate change is real, despite of what our higher-ups might think. Climate change, we see it with Puerto Rico. We see it with the Caribbean. We see it, and it's coming up here. We seen it when the tornado hit Springfield, which we thought would be unheard of, right? For a tornado to just spike up here and then come through. But we see climate change is real. I would be sitting with organizers from climate change to say, what is it as the city of Springfield? What could we do? And I would like to definitely, as mayor, when you're talking about environment, are we disposing trash the way we should? Is it properly disposed? Is Bondi's Island doing what we need when it comes to air? Is our water department doing what they need to do to make sure that our pipelines are clean, and that all these things have to do with our health, have to do with our body. I have 7 grandchildren, and they are my focus to make sure that they are healthy and okay. And environment, we have to work with organizations that are already doing the work to make that change.